Suck my balls, Kyle. No, he has to suck my balls!
You like to suck my balls, don't deny it.
Oh, suck my balls, you ginger Jew rat hall monitor! Punk-ass stoolie, who the do you think you are? Suck my balls, K-10. That's right, suck my Canadian balls! Suck my balls! No, you suck my balls! Thanks, everybody. Suck my balls! Yeah, whatever, you can suck our balls. Suck my balls, 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 suck my balls.
How would you children like to suck on my chocolate salty balls?
Oh, you mean like a chocolate candy?
No, I mean my balls.
Yes. Yes!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Yes, welcome back to another edition of Suck My Balls.
Suck my balls,
Oh, yeah.
suck my
There we go.
balls,
Suck my balls.
suck my
That's
balls,
right.
suck my balls.
We getting naughty.
Oh, yeah.
Suck my balls.
Suck My Balls, a South Park review. Of course, I'm your host in the heat, and I can't be beat. I'm your guy who's high where the air is so goddamn dry. Yeah, boy.
X.
MSG. G. You follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Matthew_Schaffer. Each and every week, I'm joined by guys who try not to tell a lie, who, when they watch an emotional movie, they might cry, and if they work really hard in the gym, they're going to give it a long sigh.
I like it though. It rhymed.
And at the end of the, you know what? That's fine, because at the end of this world, you're gonna die, ladies and gentlemen. We're back, and of course, I'm not alone. I'm joined by my boy, the Tom Out. Scoop. There it is.
Not feeling sore today because we didn't go to the gym this morning.
I'm gonna go after this. So
I was thinking about it. Thinking about maybe meeting up and going after this. Yeah,
maybe
I was gonna try and roll over, but I
traffic.
ended up getting busy and then traffic, and I was like, fuck.
No, I get it. It's fine. If you want to roll over, you can though. I was gonna go do legs after this, but we can talk more about never skibble day. But we can go talk more about it later.
Never.
You're
Yes.
here, ladies and gentlemen, to get your South Park review weekly fix. Hopefully, if you're
One of my favorites. Yeah. I love this episode.
continuing to download and listen to us yawn and John about and go on about South Park, then you know what to expect. But if this is your first time, we review South Park in linear fashion, meaning we review South Park in order. And this week we are up to season 8, episode number 8. Normally, of course, we are joined by our third compadre,
Dr. Joe Vanola.
your dirty
We miss you, buddy.
Dirty J, the JV.
The JV-ster.
Joe, though, is a promoter in professional wrestling, and he had to take a wrestler to the airport at 5:30 unexpectedly. He's like, I got to go to the airport. And I was like, oh, no worries. That's what he does.
Oh, as it is.
As it is, as you do. So, Joe, shout out to you. We miss you, buddy, and we'll see you next week or whenever. I talk to you all the time. Douche and the Turd, though, is what you're here to listen to, ladies and gentlemen. It is the 8th episode, as I said, the season 8 episode of, well, it's episode 8 of season 8, 8-8. And it's the 119th overall episode. And if you still haven't figured it out, this is Suck My Balls episode number 122. This episode aired on October 27, 2004. Of course, back then, the first 10 to 12 seasons, South Park would split up their seasons as far as part of the year, so that you would usually debut about 5 or 6 in the spring, and they'd come back around September, October for the second half of the season. So this is I believe this is the start of the second half of the season, because the last one we reviewed, I think, was in April. So the synopsis for this one, though, is a PETA protest is against the use of South Park's mascot. For those who don't know what South Park's mascot's been, it's been the South Park cow. That's what it's always been.
Always been.
But
I like being the South Park cows.
Ooh, right? And there's a lot of cows in South Park. So it's not like, they're trying to, degrade the cows. They're just, picking
Celebrating them.
Well, yeah, they're picking the animal that really represents their town. They've got a lot of cows there.
Yeah.
The farmer, we went through the whole episode with Stan and the veal. You know what I'm saying? So, there's a lot of cows and bulls and stuff like that there. Anyway, so the PETA protest is against the use of South Park's cows as an elementary mascot, and the student body, that being South Park itself, is forced to choose a new one. So this all starts off at a pep rally. This is how the episode starts off. We see the elementary school girls, the cheerleaders, doing their cheer dance and whatnot. And while this pep rally happens, a local PETA group shows up protesting the use of cows as their mascot. And this is the cow. This is what you do. We're going to show you the clip here in a minute. And then because of this, the school agrees to pick a new mascot, and then the students are told to vote for that new mascot. So let's start off that episode here so you get some context on what we're talking about.
We are South Park Green and White. Let's go, cows. Fight, fight, fight. Nobody can beat a cow. Let's go, South Park. Hey, South Park, do you have school spirit?
No, we don't.
I think us cows have the
Fucking
best
Cartman.
school spirit. Huh, Mandy? Yeah, and South Park is really going to stick it to Littleton next week. So let's bring out our mascot and get this pep rally going. It's Louie. Louie.
Poorly dressed cow.
Nice to be Louie. Better check it out.
Butter's all excited about school mascot. It shows up now.
We are people for the ethical treatment of animals. We protest your insensitive use of cows as your school mascot.
Oh, Jesus, not PETA again. Cows are maimed and
Oh, Jesus, not
and used
PETA.
as a commodity.
There's blood on this cheerleader. It's not even like wearing fur or anything.
This is the fate of the cow. This
Just
is
smacks her in the head with the bucket. I just noticed this.
Grotesque
The
cow.
cow is a slave. The cow is a commodity to be thrown away by a society gone wrong.
So because of this now, here's
All right,
Why is
children,
society
I've just been
gone
informed that
wrong?
since our school has been attacked by eco-terrorists for the 47th time, we are going to change our school
47.
mascot.
So as you can hear, the children are forced to change their school mascot. Did you have an elementary school mascot? Do you remember if you had one? Like, I know that's obviously a long progress.
Elementary school. My elementary school was Theodore Roosevelt Shore, I think it was, or Theodore Shore. It was Shore. So it was always just called Shore Middle School. We didn't have any mascot, but my high school, the Piscataway Chiefs.
Piscataway Chiefs. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't. My parents moved me around a lot when I was a kid, so I can't remember if all of them had mascots. Like, I don't know if Glen Hill Elementary had a mascot, or if Barrelwood in Ventura County had one, or even Canoga Park. But I do remember one in Palm Springs from kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. I went to this school called Rancho Mirage, and the only reason why I remember that they have a mascot is I remember the song. It's Rancho Mirage, the home of the Rams, for students, teachers, and everyone. We work hard and we have fun. Anyway, so they had their own like theme song. So I do remember having the Rams as a mascot. But then when I got into high school, I went to Monroe at first when I was still living in California, and we had the Vikings. And then when I got moved to Montana, I went to Polson, and they had the Pirates, the Polson Pirates.
The high school I went to in Texas was the Bowie Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs.
Yeah. Those are the only two schools that I can remember with a mascot.
So as you heard there by Mr. Garris, now the school has to pick a new mascot, and the children are going to have to vote on it, that being the student body. Now, there's some bland choices, you know what I mean? Like as far as the choices to pick the mascot. So because they're, I guess, embarrassed by the bland choices, or I wouldn't even say embarrassed, but more or less they're like, these are stupid choices. They all band together to start their own write-in, right? As like a fill-in joke. And half the class decides, or well, what it is Kyle decides that it should be a giant douche, and Cartman is trying to gather support for the turd sandwich. Now, initially, though, the class decides that they were going to go with giant douche, but then the next day, Cartman, he decides, no, he doesn't care. We're going with turd sandwich. So let's go ahead and see how this kind of breaks down here as this results in the lead up to the vote itself.
But, Mr. Garrison, if we change our mascot, that means the eco-terrorists win.
That's right, Stanley.
That's
the
right,
eco-terrorists win.
That's right.
Now, I have here a mascot selection sheet. Every student is supposed to check the box next to the mascot they like the most. And the most popular selection will be the school's new mascot.
But we like being the cows.
He's
You're
wearing a
responsible for the
shirt.
enslavement and genocide
Peter
of
guy's in
millions.
class.
Get out of here, Peter. We're changing the mascot already. Speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. Come on, get out of here.
There's blood on
Get out.
fucking Clyde in the middle of class.
Jesus, where do they keep coming from? Come on, get out of here.
Explain
This is
it.
bullcrap, dude.
Now, children, it's not that bad. There's plenty of great new mascots on the sheet to choose from. The Hurricanes, the Blizzards, the Redskins, the Indians.
But aren't Indians and Redskins just offensive?
No, those are fine. PETA doesn't care about people.
God damn
Yeah,
it,
yeah, you're
you
bad.
pissed me off. Now we're gonna end up with a stupid eagle or faggy bobcat as a mascot.
Wait, you guys! I have an awesome idea. We should secretly go around and tell all the students we can to not check any of the mascots on the selection sheet and instead write in Giant Douche.
Yeah! No, wait. I got a better idea, you guys. What we should do is we should secretly go around and tell all the students we can to not check any of the mascots on the selection sheet and instead write in Turd Sandwich.
Turd sandwich.
Turd Sandwich isn't better than Giant Douche.
It's only about 1,000 times better, am I right, guys? Come on, we have to tell everybody fast. It's gonna be so funny.
It was my idea, and we're gonna tell everyone to write in Giant Douche. It's way funnier.
It is not!
Kenny, what's funnier, Giant Douche or Turd Sandwich?
Oh, you're just saying that because I broke your cat's leg last week.
Maybe you pick Giant Douche or Turd Sandwich.
Dude, I really don't care.
Poor cat's leg.
That's 2 against 1, and Stan doesn't care, so it's Giant
That's
Douche.
2 against 1.
Wait, what about Butters?
Huh?
What about Butters?
God damn it, you guys, Butters is our friend, and he should be allowed to have his opinion.
Damn it,
Butters,
you guys.
Which is funnier, a stupid, not funny Giant Douche or a super funny Turd Sandwich?
Turd Sandwich! You misled him, fat ass!
It's the best choice, and me and Butters are sticking with it.
Yeah!
Yeah.
What's this for?
What's this for?
Jimmy, we're gonna have everyone write in a mascot that's really funny, and you
All right, we don't need to go through the whole thing of them trying
Yeah.
to show every class. But they go-
It's incredible, fellas. Gee, I don't know which one to pick.
This one's a long scene, but when they go to Jimmy, right? He asks Jimmy to do it, and Jimmy's okay. Tell me the first one again. Giant Douche. Ooh, that's funny. Okay, tell me the second one again. Okay, tell me the next one. Oh, Turd Sandwich. That's funny. Okay, tell me the first one again. Giant Douche. Okay, tell me the second one again. Turd Sandwich. All right, guys. Wow, guys, this is really hard. Well, let's go. I think we should hear it one more time to see which one has a lasting effect. And then he asks Kyle one more time. So, there's no reason for us to listen through that, as I just explained it to you. So, after going through that, actually, Jimmy decides, because he's the tiebreaker, he decides that Giant Douche is funnier. So, as I mentioned there, Cartman at least tells Kyle, okay, we'll do Giant Douche. However, the next day, Turd Sandwich supporters rally against the Giant Douche supporters using bribes and scare tactics to gain support. So Cartman basically does not adhere to Kyle's wishes, and they decide that they're going to go ahead and he's going to challenge him for the mascots. So let's go to the mascot reveal here. Reveal the mascot choices.
Students, we have tallied your mascot nomination sheets, and there will now be a school-wide vote between the top 2 nominations. So here's the first most requested candidate, a Giant Douche.
Y'all ready for this?
Douchey. Get douchey with you.
go Giant Douche!
Hey, South Park, have we got school spirit?
Can we? Oh, actually, no. Hold on. I'll do the reveal. The second reveal. No, hold on.
We've got spirit, yes we do. Giant douches, me and you. Let's go, douches.
Go Douches!
Let's go, douche.
And now your second nominee, Turd Sandwich.
He's just staring at the douche.
Who let the go back?
All right, Turd Sandwich!
Cartman, what the hell?
Giant Douche sucks!
We've got spirit, yes we do. We are sandwiches filled with poo, yeah!
What I don't understand is how fast they got these mascots made, these costumes.
Right.
Like,
and they look good.
they look tremendous. And even Mr. Garrison is all shocked and shit. What the fuck is going on? We're voting between a Giant Douche and a Turd Sandwich. And of course, Kyle and Cartman, this is going to start their war. And Butters backs up Cartman, so that just fully supports him. His friendship even further. So now, as we mentioned, they're trying to use different, tactics to try and bribe and scare. So here's outside Kyle handing out pins while Cartman and Butters are going to roll up, I think, in a bus.
Be sure to vote for Giant Douche! Giant Douche is your man!
Kyle, aren't you taking this a little too far? I mean, do we really want a Giant Douche to be our school mascot?
Dude, I'm not going to lose to Cartman's stupid Turd Sandwich.
Vote for Turd Sandwich! This is the most important election of your lives. Turd Sandwich brings the hope for change. A vote for Turd Sandwich is a vote for tomorrow.
There, you really want that asshole to win?
I'm not voting.
What? You gotta vote, dude. Haven't you seen the Rock the Vote stuff or Puff Daddy's Vote or Die?
I just think this whole thing is stupid.
Vote or die.
Kenny, we have got to
Bitch.
make Stan understand the importance of voting. Because he'll definitely vote for our guy.
Oh, that's so bad. So, I mentioned, as you can hear there, Stan decides that he does not like either candidate, declaring that he's not going to vote at all. Much to everyone's dismay. Stan, of course, is equally dismayed because, he doesn't understand the pointless exercise of this, which, I always kind of agreed with Stan here. Even before I watched this episode, it was like there's clearly a choice, right, by each party, no matter what it is, on who that we have these primaries or whatnot and these midterms and blah, blah, blah. Like, they've already chosen who they want to represent their parties, right? And then, yes, it does come down to some sort of national vote, but realistically, a lot of times it does feel like it's pointless. You know what I mean? Especially like if you're in a state itself that swings one way, maybe you believe the other way, then your vote doesn't count. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say voting doesn't count. It obviously does. I'm just saying I could see where Stan's coming from when he thinks, why would anybody care about this pointless exercise, right? Because he doesn't like any of the candidates.
Yeah.
So
I can relate. I know how Stan feels.
right. So he goes home and he talks about it with his parents, and his parents are actually not impressed with the fact that he's not going to vote and insist that he votes. While it's then getting into over who should win the election once they find out who the candidates are. Stan's decision to not vote against the entire town and various attempts are made to make him change his mind, including Puff Daddy terrorizing him with the literal vote or die campaign. So we're going to go ahead here and play a couple instances here. So here's Stan at home explaining to his parents about voting, not wanting to vote.
It was ridiculous. We have to have a new school mascot and we're supposed to vote between a giant douche and a turd sandwich.
Did you
What say did you voting say?
is ridiculous?
Did you just say that voting is ridiculous?
No, I think voting is great, but if I have to choose between a douche and a turd, I just don't see the point.
Right, exactly.
You don't see the point. Oh, you young people just make me sick.
Stanley, do you know how many people died so you could have the right to vote?
But Mama, I just don't think there's much of a difference between a douche and a turd. I don't care.
You don't care. You really want a turd sandwich
Facts.
as your school mascot on your football helmets. A turd.
Well, hold on, Randy. I think
Okay.
a sandwich is a little better than them having a giant douche on their uniforms.
You're crazy. A douche is at least clean.
It's sexist is what it is.
You don't understand the issue,
Are
Sharon.
you calling me ignorant?
If you think the school mascot should be a turd sandwich, you're not exactly Einstein.
I am sick of you belittling my opinion, you son of a bitch.
This is all over voting. School mascot. Wait, Shelly was going to say something.
I hate this family. I hate it.
I hate this family. I hate it.
Okay, so now Stan is going to get a knock on the door because he's going to, Puff Daddy's going to show up. And he's, he heard Stan.
Hold on him.
Right? Stan, your friend's car told us you want to vote.
Puff Daddy?
Your friend Kyle told me you don't understand the importance of voting. Apparently you haven't heard of my vote or die campaign.
Vote or die? What the hell does that even mean?
Fuck you think it means?
What you think it means,
bitch?
Motherfucker.
Rock the vote or else I'm gonna stick a knife through your eye.
Democracy is founded on one simple rule.
Get out there and vote or I will motherfucking kill you.
Kill you.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Shake
Make them titties,
bitch.
bitch.
I slam my
Jimmy
Jimmy
through
through
your
your
mouth
mouth
roof.
roof.
Now get your big ass in that hole.
I said vote,
Bitch.
or I fucking kill you. Can't run from a 38, go ahead and drive.
Let your opinion be heard. You gotta make a choice.
Cause after I slit your throat, you won't have a
Fucking voice.
Vote or die! Vote or die!
Okay, I'll vote.
Okay, I'll vote.
Poor Stan get terrorized.
He literally got terrorized. So, of course, not wanting to die, Stan conceded there to voting. However, when he goes to try and vote at school, he votes for the turd sandwich because that's his choice. However, Kyle refuses to let him and demands that he change his vote to giant douche. Now, Stan, of course, Stan now realizing his best friend was just using him to beat Cartman, once again refuses to vote. So before we get into that, it's a good point because it's like people pretend politicians itself will make promises or pretend to be your friend or pretend to have your best interest to gain your vote. But if you don't vote for them, or they'll say you should vote, but if you don't vote for them, then it's like you're a horrible person.
Yep. I was just gonna say that. I can't tell you how many, even over the last election, everybody's losing friends, family over who they're voting for, who they didn't vote for. It's really important for you to get out there and vote. But if you don't vote for the same guy I'm voting for, fuck you.
Right. It's kind of asinine. It's interesting because right before social media took off as big as it did, nobody ever really talked about who they voted for, right? It was
kind of like a kept secret, It was just like, it
was faux pas, right? It was faux pas.
Yeah, it was a little taboo.
You did things you didn't talk about because of these reasons. So that way you did not start worldwide, dissemination between people where everyone's like walking around going, "Oh, I know that person voted for Trump." Like, and you're just like, what? Why? That's how the people have these assumptions now of people, that A, B, C, or D, you voted for A, B, C, or D. So now I have a opinion about you without even meeting or knowing you or where you're coming from or why you voted for that person. You know what I mean? So like when you stop having those type of conversations, then it just becomes what you already mentioned, people arguing within families and friends and all over voting for a person in office who really doesn't give a shit about you unless you donate to his campaign. That's what it is. Unless you are donating a shitload of money to him, he does not. These politicians don't give a shit about you.
Nope. If you don't have any money, they don't give a shit.
Right.
And when it comes down to it, it's the Electoral College. So it's really just winning a state.
Right. And
rather than a vote.
Yep, and they just basically have to have, they're adhering to their financial backers, which is why, people like Bernie Sanders, whether you didn't like him or not, he did everything independently, which is why they wouldn't let him in. You know what I mean? Like that's why they rigged it against him and Hillary Clinton, because they knew if he had gotten to the primaries, the actual general election, like they wouldn't have been able to stop him in regards to fundraising and campaigning because they can't control him financially. And if they can't control him financially, or if they can't control the politician, I should say, financially, then there's no real investment for the lobbyists, the corporations, the people making those donations.
Yeah, that's why I firmly and will always believe, and nobody will ever change my mind on this, that politicians need to be like NASCAR drivers. They need to have those suits covered in all of the patches by the people they're backed for, so you know exactly who you're really voting for.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I think it should happen, because it's like, if you're gonna vote for big pharma or clean energy or waste management, these types of things should be known.
That's a good point. All right, well, let's play one of the clips here of Stan going to vote now, and Kyle, as we mentioned, not being happy with how he votes.
You're doing the right thing, Stan. Don't you feel like you're a part of something now? I guess.
Did he hit with the gun?
It may not seem important now, but your vote really does count, and we all have to do our part. Okay. Whoa, wait, what are you doing?
I'm voting.
No, you wrote down turd sandwich.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, you're supposed to vote for giant douche.
I thought I was supposed to make my own decision.
Well, yeah, but not if your decision is for turd sandwich. What the hell is wrong with you?
Wait a minute, you didn't want me to vote. You wanted me to vote for your guy.
Well, I just figured you'd vote for my guy. Whose f***ing friend are you? Puffy?
Hey, off, Cap. Don't let them intimidate you, Stan. I'll help walk you to the booth. And then I'm going to buy you a nice steak dinner with all the trimmings.
Oh, forget it.
I'm not going to be persuaded into voting, and I'm not going to be threatened into voting if I don't feel comfortable with it. I'm not going to vote, and you all can just live with it.
We've simply had it with your son, Mr. and Mrs. Marsh. Voting just doesn't appear to be important to him.
Stanley, when you left for school this morning, you said you were going to vote.
The whole thing is a joke.
You see, he's out of control. It's nearly torn our whole family apart. Well, my hands are tied. We can no longer have Stan's behavior jeopardizing the other children. He must be removed.
Oh, are you happy now, Stan? You just got yourself suspended.
No, I'm afraid it's worse than that. By county law, I'm bound to enforce the harshest punishment possible.
Expulsion?
No.
Banishment.
Banishment.
Banishment? You can appeal to the city council, but I don't think it'll do any good.
They fucking banish him. This is so stupid.
Is it me, or does she kind of have like a Minnesota accent?
She does, yeah. She's from Minnesota. Yeah, she is.
Makes sense.
Banishment. So as you heard there, the school administration decides that Stan must be banished from the town for all eternity or until he decides the voting is important. And then he's going to get placed on a horseback, bound with a bucket over his head, and sent off into the woods. So let's go to that scene here as Stan gets banished. It's pretty fucking stupid. The whole town's there.
Yeah.
Of course. All right, here we go.
Ripping pieces of his clothes off and spitting on him.
Right, hold on. Say that again.
Ripping off his clothing and spitting on him.
Yep. Let's get to that here.
Yeah, my bad.
Our son, banished. Where did we go wrong?
Where did we go wrong?
You're all joking, right?
Now he's outside.
As it was in the time of our forefathers, so it is now. Stan Marsh, for not following our most sacred of rights, you are hereby banished from South Park for all eternity. Or until you decide that voting is important. Goodbye, Stan. May the gods treat you more kindly than we did.
Now they
That
did.
part right there.
Come up. They start ripping his fucking shirt off. Start spitting on him. Makes no sense. I don't understand. Oh, that was a nasty one, Craig.
Stan, don't you think this has gone far enough?
Fuck you, Craig.
Is it really that big a deal? Yeah, just vote
My guy.
for Giant Douche.
Giant dude. Like, fuck you, dude.
I'm not voting.
Exactly. You just fucking reinforced my thought, you asshole.
Right? Like you just reinforced it.
Yo, Puppy Man, we just gonna let this happen? We got to kill this non-voting fool.
No, Chastasius, let him go. He won't survive a fortnight.
Chastasius.
He won't survive a fortnight, so then put him on a horse.
Breaking your mother's heart, Stan. She couldn't even help tie you to the horse.
Dad, isn't this a little extreme?
I guess maybe you'll never understand how important voting is. Goodbye.
Bucket on his head.
Poor Bucket. What did the Bucket ever do to anybody?
One of the hardest things a parent ever has to do.
Abandoning their kid. Yeah, I guess that is one of the hardest things. So now Stan's on this fucking horse, and they go through days and nights. Eventually, though, he reaches a PETA encampment, and he falls off. You know, he finds out the humans have grown intimate with the animals to the point here of bestiality or interspecies erotica, as it's known in Clerks 2. So Stan shows up, and he's like, "Oh, thank God!" And they throw him off the horse. What have you done to this poor horse?
Fucking Stan.
They bring him into the camp and whatnot, and then like Stan's all, they're like, "Can I stay with you?" And they're like, "You have to talk to the the duck or whatever his name is."
Yeah, the doctor.
You have to talk to the doctor. That's right. And if he approves, then you can stay. So here's Stan now entering the PETA camp.
This poor creature's in need of food and water.
You have a home here, friend. The kid wants to stay too.
I was put on the horse. I didn't want to ride it.
I don't know if you can stay. We'll have to ask Dr. Cornwallis. Come.
Dr. Cornwallis.
God, why do I just smell
Don't normally
patchouli
allow
oil
outsiders.
wafting
See,
through the
here
screen
we
right
live in
now?
harmony with animals. They're not our pets, but our fellow living beings.
Oh,
We
and
work
hey.
with the animals and try to live as they do.
Guy stops and takes a shit.
We make friends with the animals. We coexist and we intermarry. This is my
He didn't
wife,
even-
Janice.
Nope. He didn't wipe.
The outside world looks down on a man marrying a llama, but our love knows no boundaries.
He says,
I don't care if you use a bit or not, dude. Wipe. It's
Make it
gross.
out with the llama.
Wow, you guys really
Like
love
getting in there, man.
And why
Don't you
not?
think that llama would
Mark
bite
here
his
has been
tongue
with
off?
Kelly for 3 years now, and Gary and Sally here have just managed to have a child together.
Kill me. Kill me.
Like half ostrich, half human.
Yes, life here is good and natural, but now that you know where our compound is, you'll have to either live with us or be murdered.
Or be murdered.
I'll live with you.
It's not up to you. You'll have to talk with Dr.
It's not up
Cornwallis.
to you.
But we don't need to play this next part too much because, like, basically, Stan walks into this tent and it's just a fucking goat. It's
Yeah,
literally
and just stares at each other.
It's literally a goat eating like greens or whatever. And then they just look at each other back and forth.
And Stan
then-
just walks out and says, "Yeah, I can stay."
Yeah, he said. What did he say? He said I could stay. Great, that's good news. Dr. Cornwallis is wise beyond his years.
Here's your
What did
shirt
he
and
say?
sticker.
He said I can stay.
Excellent! Dr. Cornwallis is wise beyond his years. Here's your PETA t-shirt and a bumper sticker.
So now Stan has joined PETA. Oh, so they tell him that basically the head human member gives Stan what he needed the whole time, a proper reason why he should vote, rather than, because of what you have to. They tell him that the election is always between the giant douche and a turd sandwich because they're the only people who suck up enough to make it that far in politics, which Stan eventually does understand. P. Diddy's going to show up here at this camp to kill Stan, but is distracted by a PETA member who throws a bucket of blood on his coat. This angers him, and then he basically slaughters all the PETA people. Stan does get shot in the shoulder, but manages to escape and flee the camp. So we're going to play that part now here as we're coming up here on the conclusion of this episode. But let's go really quick to the debate 2004 between the douche and the turd sandwich.
It's almost like scene for scene the last presidential debate with Trump and Biden.
Well, this was 04. So this was scene for scene, I think, between Bush and it would have been at the time Kerry?
Gore? No, it would have been
Bush?
Kerry.
Kerry. Gore would have been 2000. This would have been 2004 Kerry.
Bush. Oh, God. Bush.
And then Clinton and Barack run for the primaries in 08. Yeah, so this would have been Bush and Kerry.
This is Debate 2004 with your host, Jim Lehrer.
Welcome to the cable access televised debate between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. We'll start with giant douche. Sir, some students and parents are reluctant to have a giant douche represent them. What do you say to those people?
Jim, first of all,
this
I would
is Kerry,
like to
right?
thank you for monitoring this debate. And I would like to thank all
That
of the
one's
students
Kerry.
and their parents for coming.
Suck up! Suck up!
Suck up!
Right, that's an obvious suck up move.
But I would hope that those students and their parents who question my qualities would simply look at my opponent. He is a turd sandwich.
You're a turd sandwich.
No, sir, if you'll pardon me, you are in fact the turd sandwich.
You're a turd sandwich.
Sir, you are a turd sandwich.
You're a turd sandwich.
Turd sandwich, I will ask you not to speak out of turn.
I'm sorry, Jim.
Anyway, as I was saying, wait, I forgot what I was saying.
Ha! What a douche.
All right, turd sandwich, this next question is for you. How should South Park Elementary enforce its laws of conduct for young athletes during sporting events?
He has no idea.
My opponent wouldn't even know the answer to that question. If you ask him the same question, he would not answer it. He would stand around and just babble on and on about nothing until finally he was saved by the buzzer.
Your time
Bush
is up,
AF.
Bush as fuck, right. So the reason why, by the way, Stan ends up having to potentially leave the PETA camp is the PETA guy comes up to him and he's all like, I have a goat. Do you want to fuck it, essentially? In not in terms, but he basically says, my
Others are talking.
He basically says, my wife and our daughter, blah blah blah, and she's
Taking quite a liking to you.
She's ovulating, and Stan's all like, no, I'm okay. And he's like, I don't think you really like animals here. And then as we explained what happens, P. Diddy's going to show up here with all the PETA members. So let's hear what happens.
It's been between some douche and some turd. They're the only people who suck up enough to make it that far in politics.
I guess you're right.
Yo, what did I say was going to happen to you, bitch?
Ah!
Huh? He's wearing the skin of an animal!
Gets
Take
blood.
that!
Throws it on him. While they're holding a gun. Probably not the smartest idea, PETA guy.
I hope that teaches you a lesson about wearing fur.
Idiot! Veronicus!
Veronicus?
Shooting all these people.
Protect the animals! Protect the animals!
Diddy and the crew were not going to kill the animals. They did not.
And just pees on him. And it pees through his hole.
We should die together in each other's arms! Them guys. Fucking...
Kill me! Kill me!
All start eating PETA members' heads. All right, so now we go to the end of the conclusion of this episode where they're counting the votes. Stan decides that he's going to show up and he's going to actually vote here. So Stan returns to South Park, finally convinced to vote, and chooses the turd sandwich. Despite adding his vote to tally, the giant douche still wins the vote 1,410 to 36. Stan is initially dismayed that his vote did not matter, but Randy informs him and son that all votes matter, even if it's for the losing side. However, then suddenly Mr. Garrison storms in and runs in and announces that all the PETA members have been discovered murdered. And as a result, they do not have to change their mascot. And then Randy goes, okay, now your vote doesn't matter. Let's go into the conclusion of this episode.
Who's going to win?
Oh, no, no! Ha! You lose, fat ass! Hey, wait a minute! Look!
Yeah. All shot.
Stan!
Stan, you came back. Does
Covered
that
in
mean
shit.
you learned the importance of voting?
I learned that I'd better get used to having to pick between a douche and a turd sandwich because it's usually the choice I'll have.
He's going to vote!
He's going to vote!
He's going to vote! He's going to vote, everybody!
Let's make our voices heard. We've been given the right to choose between the douche and the turd. It's democracy in action. Put your freedom to the test. A big fat turd or a stupid douche. Which do you like best?
Which do you like
Stan's vote
best?
brings the total votes for turd sandwich to 36. And Giant Douche has 1,410. Giant Douche still wins. Yeah!
That's a decent elementary school. 1,446 students?
So my vote didn't even really matter.
The case
Hey,
of 6.
that's not true, Stan.
You can't judge the merits of voting on whether or not your candidate won.
Your vote still mattered. Hey, everybody! They just found all the PETA members murdered at their compound! What? They're all dead? Well, that means...
That we could go back to being the South Park cows.
Now your vote didn't matter.
Let's get out and vote. Let's make our voices heard. We've been given the right to choose between a douche and a turd. It's democracy in action. Put your freedom to the test. A big fat turd or a stupid douche. Which do you like best?
You like beers?
Let's get out and vote. Let's make our
Voices
voices
heard.
heard. Big fat turd or a
smelly
stupid douche. Which do you like best?
Which do you like best? And that is your full episode. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with a word from our sponsors with some trivia and some pop culture references. We'll be right back. Subscribe to Suck My Balls, a South Park review on Spotify, Apple's, iTunes, anywhere you want to download a podcast, just type that in, subscribe to our feed, and you'll get the latest, greatest episode each and every week. You can also listen to us on YouTube and go back and watch some videos or any of our library. It's all there. Suck My Balls, South Park review. Hey guys, we just want to take this quick time out here just to recognize our sponsor. What's that? Well, who's our sponsor?
Baked Boys Club.
Baked Boys Club. TheBakedBoysClub.com.
The Baked Boys Club.
That's right, the Baked Boys Club. You can use our code SuckMyBallsPod and you'll save how much, Joe?
20 motherfucking percent.
20.
You heard it right.
20%.
20%.
That's right, 20%.
20.
20. That's 1/5 off your order just by typing in Suck My Balls Pod at thebakedboysclub.com. What does the Baked Boys Club have? Well, they've got hats, they've got shirts, they've got stickers, tons of different apparel. They've got mystery boxes, and if you use that code, according to Scoop, it brings it down to $49.95. So use Suck My Balls Pod code at thebakedboysclub.com. Baked Boys, not just a brand,
A lifestyle.
it's a lifestyle. That's right.
It's a lifestyle. I may have been too big to do that.
And we're back once again. Shout out to our sponsor there, thebakedboysclub.com. Use our code SuckMyBallsPod and you'll save 20% off your order. Baked Boys, not just a brand, it's a lifestyle. Scoop, do you want to read some trivia?
So starting with some trivia, along with the other children, Cartman is shown to be disgusted by a PETA video of cows being slaughtered. This is contrary to his reaction at the slaughterhouse in Fun with Veal. I didn't even notice that he was kind of disgusted by it. I wasn't paying much attention at that point. Not to like Cartman, but like to the overall.
Right.
The douche and turd concept is redone in member berries in the election. Herbert Garrison is the giant douche and Hillary Clinton is the turd sandwich.
Oh, okay. So it would have been the opposite, actually. No, we were right then. Yeah, no. Garrison being the giant douche would be the Republican, so that would have been Bush, and Hillary Clinton being and that point, John Kerry being the turd sandwich. No, that's what I'm saying. We're actually wrong. It's flipped.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Republicans are the douches, and the turd sandwich is the liberals.
The Democrats. The Stevie Nicks goat from Osama bin Laden has farty pants. Can be seen at PETA headquarters.
Right? And
That's funny.
It was also the same Stevie Nicks goat from what's it? The movie, right? Miss Nicks.
Oh yeah, Miss Nicks.
Miss Nicks. Dr. Cornwallis. Anyway,
Logie and Damien.
it's actually pronounced
Luigi. Luigi
or Luigi, depending. Yeah, Luigi, I think is what it's pronounced.
Luigi and Damien can be seen in the school hall.
Dominoes.
The kindergartner that cried over the video of the cows being slaughtered is the same one that cried while Mr. Garrison was showing them how to wear a condom in proper condom use. Cartman broke Kenny's cat's leg the week before. He believes this is why Kenny thought the giant douche was funnier. PETA had attacked the school 47 times before the mascot was changed. I really wish that they would have shown some of the other times.
Right. Like, remember the last times? And just do like cut scenes or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Shelly repeats Stan's line from Grey Dawn. I hate my family.
Yep.
A turd sandwich costume can later be seen in Hell on Earth 2006. Oh, that's right. Until World War Zimmerman, Cartman and Kyle are the only few boys that never got shot.
Biggie Smalls. Biggie Smalls. Biggie Smalls.
Biggie Smalls.
Hell on Earth 2006.
Okay. The giant douche voters include Principal Victoria, Kyle, Kenny, Randy Marsh, Francis, Annie, Bill, a fifth grader, a fourth grader, Mr. Mackey, as well as 1,400 others. The turd sandwich voters are Cartman, Stan, Butters, Sharon Marsh, Stephen Stotch, Linda Stotch, Gerald Brobloski, Sheila Brobloski, Poss, Wendy, Kevin, Clyde, Pip, Perip. I thought Pip was dead by now.
Not dead. He doesn't die till episode 200 when Barbara Streisand bot kills him.
Oh, that's right. All right. Bebe, Bradley, Esther, Millie Larson, Tweak, Richard Tweak, Leanne Cartman, 5 other adults, 2 graders, 5 other fourth graders, and 4 other.
That actually answers your question earlier when you said it sounds like it's a pretty big school. The parents were voting too.
Oh,
okay.
It's
the parents, it's the faculty. It sounds like it's the fucking town itself. It's the whole town of South Park voting.
The whole town
voting
for this shit. And finally, they repeat this joke every 4 years in some form as a parody of the repetitiveness of the election cycle.
All right. You want to read the pop culture?
All right, yeah, sure. So the reference to the pop culture, when Stan is cast out of town and tied up on a horse with a bucket on his head, is a reference to the film Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome. Dome. The Vote or Die song and video was inspired by Sean Puffy Combs' political service campaign, Citizen Change, to encourage the youth to vote. He also had a 2004 tour supporting this cause called Vote or Die, which had the slogans on T-shirts and bumper stickers.
Yeah, it was a real
I remember that. That was a thing, wasn't it? When Cartman pedals the float, Stars and Stripes Forever can be heard.
And then so there's a couple of notes here for continuity here. This is Turd Sandwich's first appearance. This is Turd Sandwich's first appearance in Cat Orgy. Shelley told Cartman that she would make him a turd sandwich out of him. So that's where he got the idea.
That's funny.
Stephen Stotch once again pulls out a ram's horn, and he did that in Child Abduction is Not Funny as well. When they sent the kids off to be with the fucking Mongolians. Mongolians! All right, so that's
goddamn Mongolians!
That's some of your continuity references to pop culture, your trivia, and your full recap. Scoop, what did you like about this episode?
So there's quite a few things. First, I love that they brought PETA in the middle of their assembly as if they knew that they were going to have an assembly supporting their cows.
What do you mean brought them in? By that, I'm sorry.
Or not brought up, but they like stormed in. My bad.
PETA storms. Yeah.
Yes, PETA stormed in. My bad. Cartman is this is one of my favorite episodes of Cartman. the fact that he wanted to do it in spite of Kyle and took Kyle's idea and changed it. I thought that was pretty funny.
But you got no seriously. If we just tell everybody to write in turd sandwich.
That's kind of a joke. I like when I was a kid growing up, my buddy Doug would always do that, but he wouldn't change it, but he would just do it to annoy me. I'd be like, "Hey guys, do you guys want to go to the arcade? That'd be pretty cool, huh?" And then Doug would be like, "Hey, I've got a really good idea. You know what we should do? Go ask our parents for some money. We should go to the arcade." Doug would do that to me all the time. And all right, yeah, let's do that. That's a good idea, Doug. Thanks, bro.
That's a good idea.
My buddy Doug used to do that. Anyway, go ahead. What else did you like about this episode? You see, like Cartman. Did you
Stan's resolve was pretty good. That was a really awesome bit of character development that kind of just sticks with Stan for like the rest of the
series itself. Yeah,
series. There we go. That's what I kept trying to say. Story. Yeah, the way that Stan develops throughout the rest of the series is kind of his resolve and everything is which kind of I really admire about Stan.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some character development, right? And they mentioned it there in the trivia with Fun with Veal, right? When Stan didn't want to let the cows die. And in this instance itself, we see some more character development with Stan not necessarily understanding as well as, we're not I wouldn't say understanding, but having moral dilemma itself with why do I need to vote for two people I don't agree with either way. And when it doesn't matter to my overall day-to-day life and or it just doesn't matter to me itself. So I agree. There's a little bit of that narcissism that they've instilled there with Stan early on without actually saying it, right?
Right.
As you mentioned, I liked Cartman too. I thought he was hysterical. His rivalry, of course, with Kyle, another episode itself, and Cartman wanting to just do it out of spite because Kyle came up with the idea first.
Yep.
Classic.
I like Randy and Sharon's overreaction to Stan not wanting to vote, and then they start arguing. And based on how it sounds like it's because the whole town had to vote, so it was tearing apart their family. Banishment. I think the biggest thing you take away from this episode when you remember this episode is Puff Daddy's Vote or Die song. Like whenever I think about this episode, I think about Vote or Die, motherfucker, vote or die, right? So like,
same.
This song has a lasting impression on South Park fans, on the South Park culture itself as a series. So I like that. And then I thought it was funny them killing all the PETA members after the PETA people were having interspecies erotica. All right, well, so ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another edition of
Check my balls.
Check my balls.
Check my balls.
Suck my balls.
Check my balls.
Suck my balls.
Check my balls.
Suck My Balls, a South Park review. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at Suck My Balls Pod, as well as on Facebook at South Park Pod. You can also just go to linktr.ee/South Park Pod. It's got all of our links there. Email us at suckmyballspod@gmail.com. Again, just Linktree South Park Pod. Just type that in Google. All of our links will come up.
All of them.
You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Matthew_Schaffer. Of course, you can follow my boy Scoob if he wants to tell you. Scoob?
My social media, I have totally removed myself from. If you want to reach me, you can want to chit chat or some shit, talk shit to each other. Hit me on the Suck My Balls Instagram.
Yeah, send him a DM. You don't need to comment and make a whole big deal out of it.
Hey, Scoob, you're gay.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, of course, shout out to our boy, Dirty J Vernola. I know that he sent me an invite, so I'll plug it here. This upcoming weekend, I think it's either this weekend or next weekend. It's the Taco Fest in Colorado. So if you're into professional wrestling and you're into tacos, well, then I suggest you get your ass down there to the Taco Fest. It's the Boulder Taco Fest. It takes place on, where's the date here? Why doesn't this thing have a date? Oh, I'm sorry. The Boulder. Oh, that's not for a while, actually. I don't need to plug this shit. It's in August. Never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, back next week for another edition of Check My Balls. Later, Joey. Hate you sometimes, but we love you all the time. Bye.